gave us a whole world of exciting new possibilities. So I guess this is a story of how it changed our lives. Maybe it will yours too. It'll be cool. Now that I've gotten on the internet, I'd rather be on my computer than doing just about anything. You'll learn how the net can entertain you and take you to far-off locations and meet new people. So let's get underway.
Hey Kyle, and welcome to episode 3 of Kyle's Cut, the podcast that you know what it's about. It's about another podcast that you don't listen to because it's too long. And this one we keep under 30 minutes, so you'll actually listen to it. I'm going to stop explaining it at the beginning of this podcast. There's no need for it. You know what we're trying to do here. So here in episode 3 of Kyle's Cut, we're going to be talking about episode 9 of Heads Up with Jeff and Sean. With 2017 being the year of the wizard on the Heads Up podcast, we continue our exploration into Harry Potter by talking about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And due to popular demand, we actually brought back Bret as a guest for this episode. And I know what you're thinking, by popular demand, really? But I can tell you from our research here at the Heads Up podcast, at least 1/3 of our audience wanted Bret back on the podcast. Now, as you know, Bret comes in hot. Like, we haven't even started the podcast, and he is ready to go. Here's a clip of that. I did it.
I did it too. Yeah, good. We hacked
the Matrix. We did it. Success.
So there. let's kill Neo and get our reward from these machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Something
wait.
about steak. I don't know.
I feel like I watched the wrong movie then.
You did.
Yeah,
How
you
dare
did.
you?
It's terrible. Terrible.
That'd be funny if you invite a guest on, tell them to watch a Harry Potter movie, and then you watch a Matrix movie.
Well, we can't watch The Matrix because it doesn't have wizards in it. This is Wizard Year, as
Right.
proclaimed by Jeff.
It's the year of the wizard.
Nothing
Okay.
but wizards. We got to talk about this whole year.
Oh, are you gonna get into Lord of the Rings?
If we run out of Harry Potter movies this year, yeah,
But,
we're
like,
definitely
only the
gonna do Lord of
Gandalf scenes?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you said you watched Harry Potter. There's non-wizard scenes in there, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm very aware of the Wizarding World racism. The M word.
Yeah, Jesus. Bret came prepared, ready to go, ready to talk about wizards. But what he forgot was that we start every episode with Kyle's Click. But what I wasn't prepared for was Sean's reaction when I tried to leave a spot to get Kyle's Click jingle into the podcast.
Jeff, you started. Do you want to start? You want to introduce our topic? I mean, you want to do Kyle's Click first, don't you?
You mean we should get started with Kyle's Click?
If you're waiting, I'm not gonna let that be a quiet moment where you put the thing in.
Is this
It's
that
hard
part
to
where
do.
you go, like, the internet has brought us so many things?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy being, before the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really see how it works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Now, we all know Sean hated when we put sound effects into an earlier episode, or at least the frequency of which we did. So I just assumed he had had enough of the jingle. He hated trying to fit that jingle in and force it in. But turns out he may not like the Kyle's Click segment at all.
And Kyle's Click is over. How'd you guys like Harry Potter?
We're really cruising through Kyle's Click.
Because I fucking hate it. There's no content there.
The more you hate it, the more the audience is going to hate it, all right? I need you to get in line.
No.
I just get in line.
I'm not gonna get
Fall in line.
It's
As
not
a
good.
third
No
of
one
your
knows.
audience, Jeff,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, Kyle's Click is on the line. I feel like I'm losing healthcare, so I want to keep it.
Yeah. See? That's a third of our audience right there, Sean.
But
okay?
then also, to your point, Sean, I was just on Kyle's Click. Wasn't
It was
interesting.
terrible, wasn't it? It was awful.
It's got potential.
Yeah.
Someone just,
Get in line.
Yeah, someone needs to bring
Yeah.
a more interesting life to the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're failing it, Sean, okay? We're failing it, okay?
It sounds like
You-
Bret is making a pitch to give him complete control. He wants to be a permanent resident on the pod. I'm fine with that.
No,
but-
no. I'm saying that Kyle needs to do more interesting things.
Okay.
Hey,
On
we
social media.
knew what his social media looked like before we started it, okay?
True.
I didn't want to do it from the start.
I'm just gonna back off.
I told you, no one knows who Kyle is. It's gonna be kind of funny to us, and that's
Yeah.
it.
They don't know until they've listened to our podcast so long that they've become, part of Kyle's social media life. They've become attached to it. You think anyone knew who the Real Housewives were before those shows took off?
Yeah. Probably. I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know.
I don't watch that show. It's bad.
Nobody-
There's no content.
And yet,
It's just like women who have had plastic surgery shouting at each other.
and yet, it's so popular.
Right.
Kyle's Click could be the Real Housewives of podcasting.
Well, I can't afford plastic surgery, so I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's an audio medium, so we can just alter your voice.
I feel like he's gonna alter the next thing you say. Is it gonna be high and
funny,
chipmunky?
but it's not. Yeah. You don't do plastic surgery on voices. Your joke doesn't make sense.
It's that kind of attitude that's killing Kyle's Click.
No,
Okay?
no, it's the content that Kyle puts out that's killing Kyle's Click.
Fine.
How about this, Jeff? Why don't you just do another separate podcast called Kyle's Politics, and you can just recite his politic posts.
No, I want the next podcast that gets put out under this podcast being a podcast Kyle does about Kyle's Cut.
Kyle's reaction.
Yeah.
Has he watched
Okay.
Kyle's Cut?
I send him links directly, so hopefully. Wow. Who could see that coming? I mean, one of the bi hosts not behind one of the segments of the show. And for it to explode like that, right in the middle of a podcast recording. Could this mean the end of Kyle's Click? Are there other things about the show that Sean hates and probably tells me and I ignore until he has to act out like this on a podcast? Should I have invited him to this episode of Kyle's Cut so he could actually defend himself? Should I keep posing rhetorical questions? But Sean's attitude to a staple of our podcast was not the only thing endangering this episode from actually making it out.
Oh, really quick aside, my recorder only has 1 bar left of battery, so if it dies, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Can you plug it in?
No, but I can probably recharge it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
By plugging it in.
No, it's like a little handheld one.
It's a hand crank?
Yeah, it's a hand crank.
Okay. We can just pause right now while you crank it if you want to see if you can get up to 2.
It's not a hand crank one.
No, we can, if you need the...
No, if it dies. It might not die, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How about if we take a bunch of, a long time talking about it while your battery runs down?
Right, yeah. Because it's super interesting, too.
Despite all that, we did find time to talk about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And I don't know when the last time you watched this movie was, but we discovered a lot of, let's say, adult themes or things going on in the movie that we almost had to call the episode
Potter After Dark.
Why is the whole school cheering when Hagrid gets back? How did they all know that he was sent away to prison?
Rumors get around, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you think Ron could keep his fucking mouth shut about it? That kid's desperate for attention. He's so poor. He's only friends with Harry because of how rich Harry is.
Ron would
I
not be
think he got-
cheering. Hagrid had him almost killed.
Yeah, by spiders.
2 hours ago.
Here's why I think Ron was not very lonely in that movie is because they focused on Quidditch a lot again, and you see Ron and Hermione hanging out off to the side.
No.
I'm pretty sure they at least made out in this movie behind the scenes because when Hermione's out of the hospital, she runs up and hugs Harry Potter, and then they're about to hug Ron and her, and then they're like, handshake.
Yeah.
Right? Because
It's already
no one
awkward. Yeah.
no one should know that we were making out or whatever.
Right.
So they're already,
So when you were watching the Quidditch thing with the exciting chase, you were thinking about 2 10-year-olds making out?
under the bleachers where she set Snape's thing on fire last year. They're just making out.
Brett, they're 12, so it's not
Right,
weird for
right,
Jeff,
right.
okay?
Hermione can
I'm
only
just
do
saying
it if Ron's got his wand pointed right at her neck.
Save it for your other podcast. I think, assume that they were making out, Joe. Mm-hmm. I think this is Hermione's play to get Ron's loyalty.
Yeah.
She wants control of this group because she's the smartest.
Yeah, she wants Ron to be more loyal to her than Harry Potter.
Yes. Because she can't outspend Harry Potter. Did you see that vault full of gold that he inherited?
Now, that was some of the tamer
Potter After Dark
things that can be gleaned from this movie, which is why it probably ended up in bonus content and not in the actual podcast. We also talk about candy every episode, and this episode was no exception. This time we talked about Skittles. Sean didn't seem to have as much opposition to doing this segment as the Kyle's Click segment. Maybe it's the jingle. Maybe it's because we get to eat candy, although he really didn't like Skittles. But like any good segment on candy, we jumped right into paranoia and fear of technology. I think they get bonus points for having creepy commercials.
Oh!
Okay, but I don't eat the commercial. I don't care about that.
Alright, so this is weird. So you know how our phones are probably listening to us?
Uh-huh.
I was talking about Skittles last night when we were watching the movie, and today I turned on the Instagram on the phone, Skittles ad.
Ooh.
Coincidence maybe, but this shit happens a lot.
Damn.
Did it make you enticed to buy Skittles, Bret?
No, it made me enticed to delete Instagram. And put my phone in the freezer anytime I have a conversation.
I always have that urge with Instagram too, but we'll save that for another day.
And just like that, we had made it through another episode. Even with that tension right in the beginning with Kyle's Click, we had made it through. But my ego was still hurt, and I needed to fish for a little bit of praise.
Jeff, you keep looking at your watch. You got somewhere to be soon?
No, I get till like 5, so I'm fine.
Yeah, I
was
don't
just checking time frame wise. We've been going like an hour 50 maybe. So.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to you till 5.
No, I don't.
Oh man, I gotta go someplace at your 5 o'clock too.
What? How's your battery? How's your battery
going.
on your recorder?
Still going.
Oh, thank God. All that gold.
I don't know about you guys. I had a very fun time.
It's good. I enjoyed it.
It was okay.
Do we wrap up? Is that how it goes? I mean.
Yeah. Do you want to wrap up? You opened up. You popped
opened
off.
Up a wrap up. Yeah.
Let's pop in.
How was that opening though? Huh? I'm really nailing it.
It was good. Yeah.
Got enthusiasm.
Yeah. All right. You want a lot of praise for it though, which I'm not really into.
Yeah. I need constant praise. So.
No, it was good. Yeah, it was good. It was better than you've been improving, I guess. Yeah.
I know you don't like the sound effects, but you could put applause breaks in. And like.
No, you shouldn't. No. Yeah, you could, but you shouldn't.
But you could.
Yeah, Sean's vetoed sound effects. So.
No, just not so many of them. And the thing is, you can't just throw them in because it's confusing if they're not prefaced with anything. Like if someone talks about a noise happening and then we decide like, oh, okay, and what would that sound like? Then in the pause you could throw something in, but it doesn't make sense. It's just coming out of nowhere.
Wait, can I ask you guys a wizard question?
Sure.
So it's the year. It's the year of wizards.
Yeah.
So I know you've got like 6 more movies to do with Harry Potter.
Yeah, something like that.
Would you know what you want to do next?
I don't know. I was just assuming Lord of the Rings, but Sean told me they're not actual wizards, so.
Technically, they're not. I mean, we could watch them and talk about them, but Gandalf is not technically a wizard. He's not technically human at all.
I don't know what other wizard movies are out there.
There's a movie called Wizard, I think.
Isn't that Pinball Wizard?
We could also watch.
Would you consider David Bowie from The Labyrinth a wizard? Oh, fucking Willow. Willow's a wizard.
The Labyrinth.
Sword in the Stone.
David Bowie is the Goblin King.
He has magical powers.
He's innately magic. Wizards have to study.
We don't know what kind of study he would do.
He would just, he fucking hopped on Amazon and bought a giant codpiece and shoved it down his pants. Then he was like, boom, done. Let's take some babies.
The only thing he did that was actually really magic was contact juggling.
It's a magical movie, though.
putting medium.
It is. No, I mean, I think it could, but I'd like to stick to just wizard specific stuff.
What about Willow?
Yeah.
Is there a wizard in it?
He's training to be a wizard the whole time. He gets a spellbook.
Alright, so Willow, we'll do Sword in the Stone, maybe.
We can throw up ideas on the Facebook group.
I just in my head was like, you should do Harry Potter. So stupid.
It was great to have Bret on. I really enjoyed it, but do you ever wonder if Bret enjoys being on Heads Up? Well, let's ask him. Hey, Bret, how are you?
Hi, everybody.
Bret, how excited were you to talk about Harry Potter and wizards in general?
Abracadabra. I was strangling a bird. And no, I wasn't choking a chicken.
Wow, okay.
Slide whistle.
Now, Bret, you're recording this over in California, and your microphone is very clear, and the video is just so crisp. I mean, did you get a new camera and a new microphone? Because I feel like I could just reach out and grab you.
Abracadabra.
I see what you did there. Bret, since you were on that latest podcast, I'd like your thoughts on Sean's reaction to Kyle's click and our little mini argument about it. How'd you feel about that? You're right. You should probably stay out of it.
Jeff, you son of a gun.
Bret, you want to know a little secret just between me, you, and Kyle here? When you come back to listen to this episode of Kyle's Cut, I put in some sound effects in that last bit there. Air horn, applause, I think a harp.
Oh, you did not just go there, Jeff. Oh!
Bret, I'd like to thank you for not only being a guest on our last podcast episode, but being a guest on this episode here. I really appreciate your time.
Abracadabra.
Bret, I've been struggling with a catchphrase to end Kyle's Cut with. Do you have anything for us?
Get the hell out of here!
I mean, it seems a little aggressive for Kyle, but, I mean, it works for me. Kyle, till next time, get the hell out of here.